peeps here. We are an executive mindset coaching group page.
Welcome, welcome. We're so excited that you are on this journey with us to discover how to change the programs in your mind. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And what's so exciting about that is, I was just thinking, Reed and I were talking about this nice fireplace in front of us. I'm not sure if you can see it on Facebook, but we've got this nice background fireplace going so we can have a fireside chat. And I was thinking, some people are really afraid of a fireplace or really afraid of fire. And some people just love it. Like, I love the smell, the sound, the crackling, the warmth. I love just watching all of these dancing colors. But some people might be afraid of that. And what makes the difference is what is programmed in the brain. And those programs show up in our emotions. So the emotion of fear is going to show up in someone that is afraid of fire. And guess what? They have a resource, and that resource is their memory. That's what drives the fear. Can you understand that from that example? Does that make sense? Some people are afraid of fire because of something that happened to them, and some of us love it. So welcome to our group where we're going to be talking about, or to our challenge, your thinking, where we're going to be talking about just this, programming and updating our brain. Welcome. And I want to introduce Rita, the fabulous brainer extraordinaire, brain fascination expert.
I thank you, Tammy, and it is a pleasure and it's so much fun. I talk about programs, Tammy. I think for me, one of my programs when I was little is that I was the teacher. I had all my siblings and cousins and neighbor kids, and I gave them paper and I gave them homework. And so that is a program, and I think it's a program that is repeating in my life. And so also you were mentioning, some people are afraid of fire, right? Mm-hmm. And I think what happens is, as you've been through day one and day two and day three, how the brain works, how memory works, and how our mindsets dictate, who we are and what we do, that, there's some people have the fear of speaking, right? Public speaking. There's that fear of being rejected, abandoned, embarrassed, and so I think that's another thing that you can update and install a new program that you feel at ease, and that there is safety in what I like about our system is that we're not coping with fear, right? We're not coping with it. We're rewriting it. We're putting a whole new program in there. We're installing a whole brand new program.
Yes.
When you think about public speaking, or you think about going camping, or you think about, getting on a roller coaster ride, that you have choice, and I like being able to update and install programs through, what's important to you in your life, what's important to you in any area of your life. If it's finances, if it's family, if it's fulfillment. When you talk about fulfillment, it's like charity work or being of service to people, places, and things, and fitness, right? I think sometimes what happens with old programs is that we create a value system, right? And we create an identity. And we talked about that on day one, day two, and day three. And so those are the foundational points that we work from, and we create identities. So, what identity have you created? I'm not good enough. I'm not capable. I don't belong. And so what happens is, when we have those belief structures, we end up overcompensating, right? Like, what area in your life have you overcompensated? I'm not good enough. So what do? You're over there proving everyone wrong or right, or And so overcompensation. So where in your life have you seen like you're overcomplicating things or over indulging or over obsessing or overly creating? You're creating it. You're like creating problems because if you're afraid that you're not going to belong, and then you're like all over people and hovering and if you have like a trust over untrustness, right? If you're not trusting people, then how do you act? How do you behave? Right? What's your program when you don't trust? Who are you when you don't trust? Who are you when you are fearful, right? That you're going to be abandoned, that you're going to be left behind, who are you? You start overcompensating. So what are some of the overcompensations that people do?
This is great because I know you guys, we have this group called the Flip It Crew, and we definitely want to invite you to this because we get to breathe into each other's lives change, and actual change from the foundation of where it started, which is in memories, and also have this beautiful community feeling, which is one thing that I've been wanting so much in my life. And I just really appreciate that no matter what's going on in my life, we can come to this group. We meet twice a week. We might be able to talk us into 3 times a week. But twice a week, and it's so enlightening, enlivening, in visualizing. Like, it's just so good. But in this last meeting with the Flip It group, we had one of the ladies who we're finding out what is your limiting belief, and it is being small, right? Being insignificant. And we know how to find that for you. And that's the one thing you might be like, well, how do I even know what my limiting belief is? We are trained to find that. Okay. We don't even find it difficult. It's like programmed in our brain now to find it for you. But in the meantime, what happened is she said some things, and both Rita and I caught it. And it was all about how, in order to be a hero, in order to be great, you have to have a problem. So what do you think she's creating? Not purposefully, not wanting to. It's just that her whole entire program is, if there's a problem, then I can overcome it, or I can achieve, or I can be the hero, or I can be the somebody that stands out above it, right? Like, I have to have this problem in order to be somebody. And those are some of the things that we find. And that's a very good example of probably something that you've experienced in your life, where you're feeling insignificant, unimportant, small, unincluded. And you might believe, I need a problem in order to rise above it and be something. But if that problem's not there, can you still be something? And Rita used this awesome example of birth, right? Like, babies don't have a problem. They're just growing and flourishing. Their little hearts are learning how to beat. They're learning how to walk. They're learning, breathing when they're first born. And all of these things are happening not because of a problem, but because of because of the need for growth. And that's exciting. And that's a really good example of how that shows up in our life.
Yeah. And I think the other point about that, Tammy, also is that we're creators. We create, we created problems because of our identity. We created problems because we didn't want to be hurt. We didn't want to feel rejected. We overcompensated and created identities to protect our little hearts. Because look, we were 2, we were 3, we were 4 years old, and we had no other skill besides the skills that we have around us. So what you do now is that you create emotional intelligence. What's your emotional intelligent level, right? Is it 0? No emotions. You overreact, you underreact, you freeze, you fight, you flight. What is it? What's your emotional intelligence? How do you cope, or how do you deal with what is going on in your life? Look, a lot of us are going through stuff. We have divorces, we have children that are growing and developing and doing their own thing. So it's like, how are we handling? How are we handling the conversation with your boss? How are you handling conversation with your spouse or your significant other? What are you saying? What are you doing? What are you doing in your head? What are you making it mean? Like, they did this, they said that, they hurt my feelings. Like, who's responsible?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that happens. I mean it was happening to me. I don't know, maybe my emotional intelligence was it wasn't zero, because I had two emotions, anger and disappointment, right? So I would
See,
say
we're two.
so I would say at least I had a 2%. But what is emotional intelligence? What is it? Tammy, what would you say? And everyone has their own belief system about what emotional intelligence is, but
Mm-hmm.
this is the executive mindset lifestyle emotional intelligence. Go ahead, Tammy.
Right. So emotional intelligence is really knowing what you're doing inside of your body and your head to create that emotion, and understanding how to change it so that it's not an automatic emotion any longer. So therefore, somebody steps on my toe, I don't automatically get angry. If anger is your go-to emotion, or disappointment is your go-to emotion, or sadness was my go-to emotion, then you have other options. It kind of opens up the options to a bountiful array of emotions, but then being able to choose rather than have to. So how many of you been in a relationship and you thought if they did something to you, you have the right to be angry? Like, I run into this a lot. And when clients feel this right to be angry, that's that, but they've taken out the choice part. Now that is no longer emotional intelligence. So the whole premise is that we understand where we feel it, what it's like, how to change it, and how to have choice among all of the emotions instead of forced to go down that same path. It's a neural pathway in your brain to go down that same path to get that result and that emotion that you don't want in your life.
Yeah.
Does that describe it?
Yeah, and I think emotional intelligence allows you to be in control of you. You are driving your own bus. No circumstances are creating your response.
Yes.
And for me, responsibility, to take complete ownership and be responsible for what I'm up to, what I'm creating, what's showing up in my life, was I say a tough pill to swallow, right? It's like the Matrix, where they take the blue pill or the red pill. The one has all the the knowledge of what's going on. There was some fear because of our programming. If you were here day 1, day 2, and day 3, you know why. You have an identity, you have your coping skills, and so now you get to be responsible. And when you get to be responsible, and when you get to notice, like, oh, did I create that? Did I set myself up for that saboteur within? Are we talking about the saboteur within this call? I think we are.
It's either this or next. I know we made a joke about that, because people really are starting to understand more about, oh, I have a sabotaging belief, right? So that is, yeah, I think it goes right along with it. How to create a new program is noticing those limiting beliefs, the saboteur within, which is the strongest part of your subconscious mind, is going to win, because its purpose is to keep you alive. So the keeping you alive overrides any desires or wants that you have. And it can be changed when we change those resources and open up that ability for choice.
Yeah, and I think the principle of the saboteur within is what I would call like internal conflicts. So when you're updating and installing new programs, to know that, hey, this is what you want. You want to create health, vitality, finances in a relationship in your life. Like that's what you want. Consciously right here right now, that's the choice
Right.
that you are choosing at this moment consciously. And what we call the saboteur within is that unconsciously you have memories, you have programs, you have belief system, values, you have principles, you have culture, you have like of what a relationship is, or who can have money or who can't have money. So you have all these assumptions, and you have all these definitions, and you have all these meanings of why you can't have a good relationship unconsciously,
Mm-hmm.
or why it doesn't work. So when we talk about, updating and installing new programs, is that we find the memory. We know the mechanics of the brain, and we know how to change memories and how to update and install new programs. So the saboteur, our end result is that you make complete peace with all parts of you, the parts that are forgiving, the parts that are hateful, the parts that are ugly, the good, the bad, and the ugly all come together because look, we're human,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the saboteur within you is not really a saboteur. It's just an opportunity to be like, oh, I want A and B, I want A and B, C, D, E, F showed up, right? And so that's just an opportunity to be like, okay, what program, what am I running? Like there's an awareness. And I think the other part is that you're in charge. But we think
Mm-hmm.
that our brain is in charge. We think that our
Right.
thoughts are real. We think that our feelings are real. And uh they are real because you feel them now, but it's not a true. When you're using old references, old patterns, old belief systems, and you're bringing them up to the future and you're future pacing them, like, I can't have a relationship that's open and dynamic because,
Right.
then you create that saboteur. You're creating that resistance of having that. You want a relationship and you end up, maybe getting it, but
Choosing,
you're looking for ways to get out of it. That
or
would be,
choosing a person that leaves you in this, in a circumstance that's not ideal for you, that you don't want. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, emotional intelligence is so fun. So I have to tell you guys a story because I was so livid. And here's an example of where this choice shows up. Okay. And Rita said something about something that really, really reminded me of this. So I had to drop this puppy off, and I was having all this conflict with the person behind the desk, and they weren't going to take him. And it was a struggle because I had to be there 2 hours early. It's an hour drive back and forth. Somebody's waiting for this puppy. I had to take this whole day to drive and do all this stuff, right? So they're telling me we're not going to do this today. And I'm angry, like really angry. I haven't been this angry in a long time. And I got in the car and I was just like, ah. And Priella was there and she's like, what is this making you so mad for? It's good to have a kid that knows how to ask the right questions, right? But all of a sudden I was like, oh, you know what? When we have experienced inner peace, then it's like we can choose this. Like, am I going to give away my inner peace over this? And it was like a quick shift and a flip. And that's why we call our group the Flip It Crew, which we'd love you to join. But that flip and that shift just changed everything the rest of the day. And you know what? I was able to rewrite that the way I wanted it to be. And the next time I showed up, those people were the nicest people, the most helpful people. They went out of their way to help me. And I wasn't holding on to those past resources. And also, I put myself in the situation of of loving my inner peace more than I loved my anger. And that, and that's an example of what it can show up like in your life. Like you get to choose.
Yeah, very good. And so when you're updating and installing new programs, you start with what do you want to create, right? You know, because the unconscious part of you will recycle and reuse old programs.
Right.
So, um, uh, and I think they all start with the belief, right? They start with the belief. They start with the memory. So where in your body, in your mind, are you seeing this program? How are you doing that program? So we'd like to sometimes go and ask, just like, how do you know? Where do you feel it? That feeling, that sensation, where have you felt it before? The first time, the worst time, the most recent time? And you tell us where it's at. This is how we update it. We find it in a safe place, unconsciously, and you will tell us, okay, it was when I was 5 years old. My dad, threw me in the pool. So I'm afraid of water, right?
Right.
So we go there and we're communicating with the unconscious part of you. And consciously you can tell us, yes, it's there. Yes, it's lessened. Yes, it's high. Yes, I'm seeing it. Yes, I'm feeling it. Whatever it is. And so we are able to break that neural connection, that pattern. And so it takes 64 days for the brain to actually create new neural connections. But because of this process, I believe it goes faster, right? It could be like this. It flips like that. Now, and then we do have you practice, just for more solidification, we have you practice happy memories, practice feeling good. That's how we're installing the program. Because if you're waking up with the first thought, and your first thought is love, compassion, it's generosity, and it's not like fear, dread, blah blah blah, right? Your brain starts, and your body, you're programming your body. Your brain is only responding to what your thought is. So if your thought in the morning is dynamic and empowering, your brain goes, oh, let's get these chemicals going, let's get this biology working, let's get this,
like the day you're going on vacation, right? You're like, when do I ever wake up this way? Right, the day you're going on vacation. Yeah. And
yes.
and the cool thing is, right here, reprogramming your brain. I remember thinking, how can I be happy? He's doing this and she's doing that. And well, like, I'm not kidding you guys. I felt like the cloud was over me from outside of myself. I thought, I had no control over these thoughts going on in my head, and that they popped in there automatically. Well, those thoughts were popping in there because of what I was feeling, and my feelings were being exasperated by what was popping in my head. It's just so fascinating how learning just this one thing changed my life. And this is use your happy memories. Now, initially, I couldn't even hardly find a happy memory because I was filled with worry. That was something I always did. Worry about this, worry about that, make sure you know, because then if you know and if you worry, then you prepare and plan, and then you can be totally ready, which is the opposite of how the brain works. And so I did the sessions, had sessions with practitioners and started to understand this. But when somebody said, use your happy memories, and I had some, I built them up, then all of a sudden I could feel happy without trying. Because before that, I was trying to be positive. How do I do it? I don't know. I got to think about, I got to think about this. I got to think. Instead, I get to. I looked at it as an opportunity to enjoy my happy memory instead of have to figure out how to feel happy or how to be positive. So one of the big, huge things for reprogramming your subconscious mind is imagining, sitting in, making very vivid and colorful, smelling it, smelling your happy memories, feeling them, touching them, seeing them, living through a video, just like you're doing with a lot of other things in your life, only do it in your happy memories.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and Tammy is the queen of flipping your problems, your issues, your belief systems. She will find that word, that vision, that trick that will trigger you to flip it. You would. I think you're amazing. What did I call you?
Oh,
Yeah, I think you're the what is that? Imaginative, creative, uh, brain trainer coach, because you have a very creative, very fun, and I think that's what helps, right?
mhm.
It helps the unconscious part of you to relate to know that it's all going to work out. Like it's
Right.
all going to work out, and when we have that lightness, I think it makes it much easier. So
And that's the belief, right? That's why you said it all comes back to belief. So when we believe we're small or insignificant, how does that feel all day long? Like that's creating more of that feeling. How do you know what your future is going to look like? Small and insignificant. I can guarantee it because that's what you're doing. So, right. So what do we want to feel? We want to feel that lightness. We want to believe we're worthy. We want to, and finding those limiting beliefs, flipping them into you being able to see the future you as the person you want to grow into. You get to, you know what? That is not only your responsibility, it's your job. That's why you're here, right? Do you want to be in control of that future person? I think that's the best choice.
very good. And
Very empowering.
also, what is important and what is key is that when we do this brain training work, when we work with your unconscious mind, when we update past memories that are no longer happening, we find the wisdom of it, we find the gift
Mm-hmm.
of it. And not only that, do we find the gift of it, your subconscious, unconscious could let those go. The fear part, keeping only the knowledge and the learning and the wisdom, and things become effortless. Like, is it effortless to be happy now? Is it
Yes.
effortless to create a desired outcome and allow it to come in and receive that new way? It becomes effortless. There's no need for willpower or white knuckling, right?
Right.
Because I feel like that's what we've done in the past is we're like trying to beat ourselves up by
Mm-hmm.
doing this and doing that, and I believe that this foundational brain training, updating and installing new programs, things become effortless. Things become your willpower, I could say, would get stronger, really,
Right.
because there's no resistance to the saboteur within and the conscious you. Like you are working together.
Yes, we have such a good example of that from our Flip It crew, don't we?
A lot
So
of
yeah. So one of the ladies wants to lose weight and it's been a struggle for her, right? And this last call, she said, I am looking forward to a meal plan. I am looking forward to eating healthy. I'm looking forward to exercising. She said, I've never had that in my life. So now what happened, what's showing up effortlessly is that her want is lined up with what is actually going on in her subconscious. Because before that, she wanted something, but there is programs going on that are more powerful than her. Doesn't matter what she says she wants, this program, and you've seen that. You've seen people say, oh, I want to be thin, and there they are eating a whole entire chocolate cake, right? You're like, what are you doing? Well, they're doing the saboteur within. But now she's easily and lightly choosing and wanting that. And so that's the exciting thing, is that when you actually want it and then it lines up and you actually want it in your actions, now we know that this is becoming effortless.
Yeah, and when we update and install new programs, like I was at the grocery store and I saw this chocolate muffin, like a chocolate cookie muffin, and I mean I haven't really had cake. I did have cake. I bought some cake somewhere. Yeah, and 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 I looked at it and I was like, yeah, like I could deserve it. I'm blah blah blah, right? But like I had the like the willpower was there. I didn't get it. I didn't have to get it. I had choice. Like if I
Mm-hmm.
really wanted to, I could have gotten it. But it's not aligned to what I'm up to with my body, right? So
Right.
so the willpower and the conscious awareness, because you've updated, because you've installed programs, new
Mm-hmm.
programs, that you have now created a higher standard for yourself, which is health, vitality, financial success, whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is. Your brain, that part of your brain, the reticular part of the brain, the reticular activation system, uh, will be scanning what it is you're up to, right? So if you're up
Right.
to health and vitality, that new plan comes in, the feeding program comes in, you get a friend or relationship, things start coming in for you to support you in that. Yes, you can still have the thought like, oh, do I want this cake, and you have choice. You can say
Right.
yes or you can say no. It's not a trigger. I used to be a smoker, a part-time smoker. and and there's the little trigger, the little urge, like wherever it is in your body, however
Yeah.
it is, and that is gone. It
Yeah.
is gone. Like um,
So are you addicted?
no, there is no,
Right.
there's
We can
no.
break addictions.
We can break addictions. You can break
Definitely.
food addictions, overthinking addiction, anxiety addiction. You could depression. It could all be changed because we know the mechanics of the brain. We know how the brain works. We know how the mind
Mhm.
works, and it's mind body connection. So it is an amazing, amazing awareness, and we're giving you guys awareness right now. This 5-day challenge is to challenge your thinking. So where in your life, in what areas in your life would you like to create health, vitality, vibrancy? Where do you want to create that? And notice what happens in your body when you challenge your thinking.
Right.
What
Instead of just
happens?
letting these thoughts come in, I had a very imaginative mind, even even when it was an unhealthy thought, like all of these weird images of horrible things that could happen, I just thought that that was normal because I didn't know. But what if I knew? What if I had learned, like, oh, when this thought of my kids dying in the future, okay, that happened a lot to me. When that thought comes in, I challenge it. What if I say, yeah, how do I know that I'm thinking about this? Like, what images came up? What is the purpose of me thinking? Like, I want to find out what good thing, and I know it might not sound like a good thing to think about that, but there's some reason that my brain wanted to focus on that. So we have some really difficult questions that um, help you start to notice even your thoughts, because so many of time part of the day I just thought this was, just take it in, take it in, take it in. Nobody's got control. Guess what? You have control of what's going on in your head. You get to choose. It's not a lie. It's not the truth. You get to choose. If you want to imagine, were my kids dying? No, my kids weren't dying. I was imagining it. It's not true. I can do the opposite. My kids are living. My kids are successful. I can do the opposite of it. And it's just as true. So our brain the subconscious doesn't necessarily work in truth. It just works in images and sounds and feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, 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 very powerful, folks. Folks, I'm telling you, it's powerful, and you can walk into the system. You can, and we're going to invite you to our program. Our program it comes in increments. It's a 64 day program because we know that the brain is transferring and changing and updating. And if there's a particular thing you want to focus on, like health, or vitality. Like, who wants vitality? Like, I want to feel alive. I want to feel
Yeah.
connected. I want to feel abundant. I want to feel. And so
We like
we have a
movement.
program where you could step into that. Look, you can go and you can spend $2,000 and figure out how to work on yourself, or you can come to us as upper level practitioners and we do it for you.
For
We
you.
walk you through the system, and by the end of these sessions, because it could take up to, if you have a real deep groove in the brain, it could take up to 3 sessions of intentional focusing in your desired outcomes, and flipping and rewriting and releasing and rewiring, that you will get changes, you will get transformation, your life will change. And you don't have to do it in a way where you're alone. You can do it with us, and you can do it with our
Right.
so we
Yeah.
welcome you, and we'll put some links in the group, so you could feel free to come participate. And we are offering your first month at a $49 investment in your thinking, in your mindset, in your livelihood. So $49 a month, and you get 8 calls a month and about an hour and a half, and you get to participate at any level. Like, if you want it, it's like a Zoom call like this, and you can participate at any level. And sometimes it takes a while to build the confidence and the security, and that's okay. That's okay
Mm-hmm.
to go slow, and it's okay to go fast. It's okay to have big dreams and desires. If you want to break, your first million in 2 years, like, we can clear the path. We can help you clear the path to getting there. If you want to get pregnant, if you want to get married, if you want a love of your life, we can help align you to those. And you can take this stuff home. You could do it on your own once
Right.
you've learned the process, and your brain will pick it up quickly, because now you get to drive your own bus, guys. You get
Yeah.
to drive your own bus.
That's what we've been seeing in the group already that is really exciting, is that these ladies are coming and going, oh, I noticed. And I'm like, yes, because before that, it's just being run because we think it's gotta, if a picture comes in, if a sound, if we're thinking about those words that somebody said over and over and over, have you ever done that? You can't get those words out of your head. We think that that's normal. And so to find out that it's not, and we get to actually change it and drive our own bus, as Rita says, is super powerful. But also what Rita and I noticed as practitioners was that having somebody, when we're programming the brain, especially, doing it 2 or 3 times a week is so powerful for you, because you're not just meeting with a practitioner once a week or once every other week. You are getting to do this for yourself with us, have us do it for you, and then you do it for yourself in the between times. And of course, when you have questions, you know who to come to the group. There's so many brilliant ladies in here, and to see changes, because meeting 2 times a week is keeping you in the upper mindset, the upper level mindset, where you do get to be in charge and you do get to create it. And that's why we created it this way. Yeah.
Very good. So updating and installing new programs, and the saboteur within is not your enemy. It's an opportunity for you to be like, oh, I want this, and this is showing up. What can I update? What program can I install? What value system do I want to live into? Where can I take responsibility for that thought, for that feeling, for that sensation? And you will have the tools to do that. Like,
you're not powerless. Yeah, you're not going to be powerless. You're going to be empowered. It's your tool to take forever, to give to your kids, to create a legacy for them, that they don't have to think that the things going on in their mind have to play there without any control. When things show up in their life, for them to actually challenge their own brain and say, what am I doing in my own thinking? What have I seen? What do I believe that this keeps showing up? And empower them. Empower your parents, your spouse, if he'll listen, or she'll.
So there is no saboteur within. There is no saboteur within. It's just programming, and it's programming that you can update and that you can program. Just how you know how to tie your shoe and you know how to drive a car, you can program how you want to be happy, how you want to be creative, step into your creative part, create projects, programs,
Yeah.
relationships. Like, it will be automatic because we already have the automatic, like Tammy was
Yes.
saying. Now she flipped it, and now she's got a happy automatic or a good automatic or a forgiving automatic versus letting that part of your brain, the survival part of your brain, dictate your life by fear or resentment or anger or whatever it is. So you're able to flip it. So I really hope that you got value out of this call, that you find something that inspires you, that touches you, that allows you to step into the part of you and be kind to yourself, right? Be
Yes.
compassionate, be calm, have some curiosity of what's going on in your brain, your
Mm-hmm.
mind, and your body. Not like there's something wrong, not like you're broken. It's not like you gotta fix something, but you just could get an awareness. So,
Yes.
like I've said before in the past, if there's an emotion or something that comes up, the tool is that you can let it go by tapping the center side of the eye, let it go. That feeling, that sensation, that thought, whatever it is, that belief system, I let it go.
Let it
And then
go.
you're focusing on something else. And then when you're done with that, I want you to look at three things that are visual, three things that are auditory, three things that are kinesthetic. So actually feel it, actually see the color, actually see the corners or the roundness, because now you're using your brain and you're breaking the pattern of that feeling, that sensation. So
Yes.
that is the key. Practice that, and practice when you are actually feeling your fingers, guys. You're not focusing on the problem or the feeling or the sensation or the color. You're actually focusing on the feeling, the sensation, the here, the now. Take a couple deep breaths, blow it out, say peace. That is the basic fundamental, and that's what I like about this part of the interrupting it, because it's tangible. It's
Mm-hmm.
until you get into a structure that you can train your brain just to automatically mentally do it. At least that will help you. If you have a fear or a commitment, or I don't know if this product will work, I don't know if this services will work, I don't know if that's good enough. Hey, if there's any resistance, just notice that, right?
Yeah.
And it's because your body's trying to protect you, your mind's trying to protect you from change. Because what happens if you change? What happens if you're not that complainer, that overweight person, that broke person? What if you're the healthy one? What's the fear, right? Let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Let it go. So
Perfect. And use that happy memory. So when you hold your wrist and you're looking for those things, also use your happy memory to get yourself into a state. And what you're doing is building a new program. So guess what? When Rita said, don't be thinking about it, you're thinking about your fingers, we're interrupting that program. Why? I don't know if any of you are horse trainers or dog trainers, but when your horse is off in a scared mindset, you want to interrupt that really fast. If they're like, I'm going to take off, I'm getting scared, you want to interrupt that and redirect their attention to something calm and peaceful. And with your dog, if they're off chasing a rabbit and you want them to be by your side, like, you got to interrupt that program. And that's what's going on inside of our brain. And interrupting it is the tapping part. And so when you're interrupting it and you're feeling your fingers, that's when you want to make sure that you're, like she said, thinking about something else. We interrupt the program, now we create a different one.
by going
And
to a happy memory.
yeah, and the interruption isn't like, don't think about this. Oh, because now what are you doing? You're creating a don't do something wrong program, right? That's what I was doing. Don't think about that. What are you doing? You're supposed to be thinking positive. What's wrong with you? How come you can't think positive? Am I the only one? Right? I was creating a program of problems when I'm trying to create a positive mindset. That's why it wasn't working for me. I interrupt it and I easily get into noticing and thinking about something better. And this is all over the internet right now where people are talking about this. the science behind it is not trying, because trying is a program. Do you want the try program? I know I don't. And that's why I'm here. And that's why I did what I needed to do to change it. That's why I'm taking responsibility for what's going on in my life. And we want to invite you to do that too. Empower yourself.
Yeah. You mentioned trying, and it's funny because, just try to get up. Try to stand up right now. Just try. Try.
It's a lot of work with no results.
Exactly. Very good. Yeah, you want to close this out, Tammy?
Yeah, so we just hope that you really got a lot of value. I hope that it was entertaining as well. And, if you can take some of these pieces that were said and start to even notice it. Oh, the other thing Rita said that I loved was she said, ask questions, like be curious. You know what you're building in your brain when you're, rather than, oh, I'm the stupid one, I always get it wrong. What if you're curious? You know what you're building then? You're building a temperament and a personality of curiosity and interest. Like, wouldn't that be fun to build? So it's your opportunity to create what you want. We know that you didn't know. And you know what? We know you're not broken. Neither Rita or I are going to look at anything you've ever had or done or thought or believed in your life and think you're broken. What we know is you just didn't know how to change your program. And we do. So come along. We'd love to have you.
Very good.
All right.